So I wanted to begin the worksheet with you. That is your homework. This is posted to Google Classroom, and it's titled Difference of Perfect Squares Worksheet. You can do two things. You could just write this on a separate piece of paper. Actually, you could do three things. You can write the problems on a separate piece of paper, take a picture, and then attach it directly to this link. You could copy it, print it out if you want, complete the problems, complete the worksheet. Again, take a picture of it and attach it to this link. Or you can just open this link directly on a device, and you can edit it and write on the device that you are using if you choose to do it that way. So this worksheet is talking about the difference of perfect squares pattern that we talked about yesterday. We are going to go through a couple together so that you can see how a few of them are done. Feel free to write these down as you're watching the video so that you're working through the problems and that you get a couple of them completed. The rest of your homework that we don't complete together, the rest of the worksheet is homework. So at the top it says factor using the difference of two squares pattern. And just as a little refresher from yesterday, that pattern was A plus B and A minus B. So I'm just going to jump around doing a couple of them. We'll start with the first problem. We have x squared minus 225. So the first part, and I need to see a little bit of work. These aren't very involved problems whatsoever. So taking the square root of x squared, that's just x. That's my A term. The B term is the square root of 225. You might need to put that in your calculator so you can think of what is the square root of 225. What times what makes 225? And that's 15. I want to see this step right here as your work. So then the next step is to write it as the pattern. Something plus, something minus. And you're just using that A and B value. X plus 15, X minus 15. Again, if you want to receive full credit, you have to have some type of work. And what I have boxed here is the minimal amount of work that you need to show. Your answer is this right here. Factored form means parentheses multiplication. So we're going to go down to number 6. I said I'd do a couple with you. Once you get down to number 6, you need to start asking yourself, is there a GCF? So 1 through 5 are all just x squared. There can't be a GCF if it's just x squared. But looking at number 6, it has a 25 and a 100. So the first question to ask yourself, is there a GCF? 25 and 100, are they both divisible by the same number? Yes, they are. So 25 GCF, I can divide by 25. So that's the first step. Don't forget about that first step. So I'm writing 25, that's the GCF. 25 divided by 25 is just 1. So there's just an x squared. 100 divided by 25 is 4. The second step, done with the first problem, circle the 25 so we don't forget about it. A little bit of work here. The square root of x squared is just x. The square root of 4 is 2. So now we're writing our pattern out, something plus, something minus. And in front is that GCF of 25. So x plus 2, x minus 2. Again, a little bit of work. Here is the final answer. So if we go down to number 9, number 9 says 81x squared minus 400. Is there a GCF? 81 and 400. They're not divisible by 9. They're not divisible by 2. I can't take out a 3. So there isn't a GCF. That means I just need to take the square root of both of them. So the square root of 81 is 9. Square root of x squared is x. The square root of 400. What times what makes 400? Well, that's 20. So again, my pattern, something plus, something minus. And that's something, or what I have listed for A and B. 9x plus 20, 9x minus 20. All right, so I've done 3. I'm going to do one more with you, and I figured I'd go down to the last set of problems here. Why don't we do the last one together, number 15? First question, GCF. Well, there's a 3 and an x cubed, and then there's a 20 or a 75 and an x. So they both have an x in common. This is different than the ones we've done so far. They both have an x. That's part of the GCF. And then I can take 75 divided by 3, and I can take 3 divided by 3. So the GCF is a 3x. And then when you divide, 3 divided by 3 is 1. X cubed, getting rid of an x, leaves us with x squared. Then there's a minus sign. 75 divided by 3 is 25. And the x's cancel. So now we have x squared minus 25. All right, so we've done the GCF part. Now we have to do the square root part. The square root of x squared is x. The square root of 25 is 5. Here's the GCF. I need to write that in front. Something plus, something minus. And in the parentheses are the x plus 5 and the x minus 5. So GCF first. Take the square root of the two numbers second, and then place them in the pattern. So now you should have 4 of the 15 problems done, which means you've got 11 to do on your own. If you have questions, please send me an email. There are also Zoom session, math help sessions that I sent through an email on Friday. You can go to that email that I sent you on Friday and click on any of those links, and there is a math teacher there, Ms. Mileski. She is a math teacher at the high school. She was subbing for Mrs. Sefcik, and she has math office hours. So any questions that you have, you can always go to her as well, because she's available on Zoom for the majority of the day. Have a good one. Again, email me if you have questions.